Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Digital Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Hello, good sir, and welcome to another beautiful Thursday, and here in the middle, or I should say end of June.
Indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do have some good news. As of right now, we are streaming on the new computer, unlike last week where I was scrambling and literally like pulling wires.
Do you feel the power?
I'll tell you how the power is once I try to render the video. How about that?
That should actually be like a massive difference with being able to do multi-coring and all the good stuff. All the fancy ones and zeros are going to like duplicate and multiply so much quicker.
Of course. And also I think it helps to have like installed all the drivers. That apparently lots of the drivers were not installed last week. So
until Windows decides it's going to corrupt your drivers.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is a Thursday night. Oh, sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the political comment himself, Zealeus.
Cheers.
And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Thursday Night Hangout. This is a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you. If you have any questions, topics, or opinions that you would like to add to the show, all you got to do is add it to the chat. If we unfortunately run out of time, we will add whatever your thoughts, topics, subjects to the very next show. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing is super duper excitement for all that love Blizzard. And that is BlizzCon will be streaming for free. The entire thing, not select things. The entire BlizzCon will be streaming for free this year.
For free, actually?
Yeah.
It's not going to be like a microtransaction or power to the battle pass or some other kind of bull honky?
Yes, it's going to be a free stream. So now, to be totally honest with you, I feel like this is Blizzard's way of trying to win back some of the fan base after like Activision's basically made Blizzard look horrendous.
Well, what's kind of fun to me is I didn't know it was free to stream in context of this.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny in context because they'll always find something to thrash on, but they were giving crap over the $300 admission for BlizzCon.
Mm-hmm.
And even not knowing that, I'm like, what do you expect? Like, it's not like a, MomoCon or DragonCon where you're trying to keep it like affordable for like the normal person.
Yeah.
Like it's BlizzCon. It's like catering to the most hardcore and they can charge that price. So I was like, Blizzard does a lot of shady shit now, but charging $300 to BlizzCon to me is not one of them. Especially now knowing that you can watch it online for free.
Yeah.
What I'll be curious of is, are they going to have, because in the past, they've always had somebody big like Metallica playing like the matinee Saturday night concert.
Tenacious D was the year that I went.
But I wonder if they're going to have like another good music act that they're live streaming. That could actually be really fun to watch, honestly.
Yes, that would. Clark wants to know, can we talk about how terrible peas are? There are a lot of different types of peas, so you're going to have to be more specific.
Like snap pea, green pea, a pecan.
Was it baby Earl peas? They just sit in
like,
that
is this
juice?
Like the pea in the urinal? I mean,
no, PEA, not urine.
It depends if you can spell. I mean, everybody uses Grammarly nowadays, so people don't even know the difference between PEA and PEE.
Nasty, mushy green peas.
That could be in the urinal. I'm just saying.
For love of God, Zealeus. I'm going to say that I don't think they're nasty. Those type of peas I will actually eat. It's the other peas I won't eat.
I will only eat like the snap peas. Like, I forgot the actual. I haven't had them in so long. Yes, edamame is the bomb. I'll eat green beans, especially like the good sautéed ones, like in like garlic oil. Ooh, those are tasty. But like, no, mushy green peas. I'm actually the Clark on these because you know what mushy green peas remind me of? Bad cafeteria food. So I'm with Clark. Like mushy green peas. No thanks. I don't really cook healthy food anyway, so it really doesn't affect me.
But mushy peas? Yeah. Yes, Joel. Like I said, I would prefer them not be mushed. I mean, mushed. I don't want them mushed, but I like the soft peas.
Now, the worst would be like if it was like a paste. I think I'd just kind of throw up.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Ooh, like instead of yogurt, you have like pea-gurt.
Oh, okay. Now, geez, you're gonna make everybody in the audience want to puke. I'd rather they not do that, Zealeus. Let's get back to Zealeus is frozen. We lost Zealeus. Oh, and he's back, and he's sort of there. Zealeus, are you with us?
What is going on?
Don't know, but
I don't know.
After a long day, nothing better than a soft pee.
Oh dear God!
Thanks, Joel. No, let's get back on the topic of the BlizzCon being free, and I have to say that, like I said, I think it's to make everything look pretty, or it's not look pretty, but kind of make up for some of the crap that's been going on with Activision basically making Blizzard look bad. But the $3 was it $300 for the ticket?
$300 for the live in-person version.
I think 10 years ago it was $198 a pop. So
yeah, I mean,
it makes sense. Look, if you go to a concert for a very big name artist, you're gonna have to pay out the ass for it because one, there's a specific number of tickets. Because BlizzCon has a cutoff. It's not, we're just going to keep selling like a Dragon Con, where it doesn't matter if there's 1 million people shoved into the vendor hall at one time. They don't care. They just want their money.
The monies?
Yes, the monies. Joel says, is Nintendo coming out with a new console? Nintendo says no, but I would not be surprised if the heir apparent to the Switch is not fully under development at this point.
It's going to happen. I mean, they've already talked. I mean, it will happen at some point. Mm-hmm. There's the rumors that it's going to be like the power of the PS4/Xbox One.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
Which at that point you can basically play all of the current gen games anyway, because so few are actually console exclusives.
Yes. Oh, speaking of which, Microsoft basically came out. I don't know who at Microsoft, but someone at Microsoft came out and said, the reason for all this exclusive stuff, it really comes down to Sony dicking everyone over in the olden days.
Oh, yeah, it was always quite ironic when Sony was all like, "Oh, exclusives from Microsoft would hurt us so much," when like
they're the ones who started it.
They're one of the worst companies, even today, to still call out other companies for doing that. And I'm like, I don't think anybody here is a fan of exclusives, but Sony, of all the companies calling out other companies for exclusives, is kind of boneheaded.
Yes.
Because they're also a company that loves to purchase other companies. Like, I mean, they're definitely a purchaser of other developers. So it's very much to me, it's with Sony, it's be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Because
if they manage to be a instigator in the blocking of the merger, and probably at this point, even if they still merger, anytime Tony Side buys something, you bet your ass Microsoft Activision are going to be there to be like, so
yeah,
about that.
Yeah. How about that? Well, actually, let's see here. Didn't Microsoft buy up was it ZeniMax as well?
I can't keep track of who buys who anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, there's going to be a lot of angry people pointing the finger at Sony the next time Sony tries to grab a studio and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to just keep everything on our platform."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, between me, the PS5, and the PC, I get pretty much every game anyways eventually, so I don't really care much. But I'm generally not just from a consumer perspective, I don't like exclusives.
I want to go back into the chat real quick here. Clark says Final Fantasy 16 is so good. I'll take your word for it. I, of course, still got to wait until the end of the year to wait for the PC version. Alex asks, how much are they buying them for? I'm assuming you're talking about the the tickets that we were talking about a little bit ago, and they were $300 a pop. Okay, the next topic. Speaking of platforms, let's talk about Valve and Valve's sneaky, super duper sneaky way of they've been weeding out a lot of games as of late behind the scenes. Basically, because of the fact that these games are being submitted with AI created art. I'm going to read the exact what one of the results is that you could get if you try to submit a game, and it is I want to know exactly how they determine that it's AI generated. But anyways, after reviewing, we have identified intellectual property in game name here, which appears to belong to one or more third parties. In particular, this game contains art assets generated by artificial intelligence that appears to be relying on copyrighted material owned by third parties. As the legal ownership of such AI-generated art is unclear, we cannot ship your game while it contains these AI-generated assets. Unless you can affirmatively confirm, wow, that's a way to put it, affirmatively confirm that you own the rights to all the IP used in the data set that trained the AI to create the assets in your game. We are failing your build and will give you one opportunity to remove all content that you do not have the rights to for your build. If you fail to remove all such content, we will not be able to ship your game on Steam, and this app will be banned.
See, in that context, though, it's not just as simple as we don't allow AI art.
Right.
Like, because that's the headline. It's like, oh, no, AI. It comes down to the copyright of who owns it, and that's a real issue. I know for corporations, using like Chat GPT is generally a no-no, because when you're like, if you try to put, like, say you put your program in Chat GPT, well, due to their privacy controls or lack thereof, your potential proprietary code is now on somebody else's servers. And so it's like those big news like, oh no, Apple's not allowing Chat GPT. I'm like, yeah, most companies aren't for legitimate reasons. They're usually, if they're doing AI, they're spinning up their own private AI cluster of some sort where they contain their own data. To me, this is kind of the similar thing where a company, depending on how they're using, if they're just putting some random AI algorithm, you're right, they probably don't own the content because it's just pulling together somebody else's shit and popping it out as their own, even though it's not.
Right.
So in that context, I totally get it. Because they're not using, you can use AI to create artwork that you own the copyrights to, but there's a certain way of doing it to maintain that copyright as yours and not just basically animating other people's art and then try calling your own is kind of, I think, what we're seeing from the AI art that you get in games, because then it's a very nebulous situation of who does it belong to.
Okay, so but here's my question then. If you own the rights to the art that you're then generating additional assets, why not just use the assets you've already created? It seems that.
Well, I think that's what Valve is saying, is in that case, I read it as if you can prove that you're just using your assets being AI generated, then you in fact own that copyright, and now it'd be kosher. It's when you're feeding in other people's assets into the AI algorithm, that's when it becomes questionable, I think, is the issue.
Okay, I got to turn my developer brain on.
Because I look at it as, because I always bring up the whole Photoshop situation where to me, Photoshop is AI also. But typically when you're doing the AI part of Photoshop, you're using your own stuff you've created to then morph it and do stuff. And to me, that's totally okay, because it's still your original work. I think that's the difference. You're using your stuff. You can prove like I created this, versus I forget what the art and equivalent of Chat GPT is. I know there's one that exists.
There's a couple.
What's that?
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's a couple. But you throw in other people's artwork and it spits out something for you to use. And I imagine that's what Valve is running into. And it makes sense for Valve to block it, because if if you're Valve and you have a game on your platform that's hosted artwork that doesn't potentially belong to that developer or publisher, Valve wants no part of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it's AI generated, aren't we talking about it sampling several different things to make like an amalgamation of a certain? I mean, if you
I think that's exactly what's happening. But then that question is, which I don't think has been determined, which is the issue, is then who does the copyright belong to? The artists of which you're sampling would claim, I mean, this actually goes back to the RAAA and artists being sued for millions of dollars for sampling other music art. I mean, that's old cases.
right.
Or not just old, current cases are happening like that all the time, where you sample previous musicians' art, and all of a sudden, that song royalties now belongs to the artist who originally recorded it.
Alex has asked, how do they actually prove it? I'm not sure. I mean, is there some kind of like meta tag that gets added when AI generated art?
I tell you, how does Valve prove it, or how does the developer?
How does Valve?
My guess is, having done, what's the word I'm looking for? Not AI. It's a form of AI, but specific to graphics. There's algorithms you can throw it into.
Yeah.
They exist. There's a term, I'm having a total brain fart on it, but basically there's just systems you throw art into and it'll spit out of whether or not there's other work based off of that. That's a pretty known solution already, and being able to determine if this form of artwork already exists.
I mean, this AI stuff, man, continues to just, it's like opening Pandora's box. You just don't know. Because
Yeah, I agree.
Because, one, you're getting AI generated art assets, and you've also getting AI generated term papers. There's a lot of people out there who use AI. I know I've said this several times, but there's a lot of people that use Chat GPT to help with their Dungeons and Dragons or pencil and paper campaigns, to help fill in some of the more meat of the campaign to make it more interesting. Is that?
But to Alex's question, though, you have the false positives, because you also have the case where that professor spit in like all those exams into, probably turn it in or something.
Yeah.
And it claimed they were all used AI to create the papers, even though that was not the case.
No, but I think the exact wording was, this potentially could have been created by AI, assisted by AI in this writing.
When every paper does it, though, something's not right.
Okay, what about spell check? Spell check is a type of AI because it's reading over your paper. Or Grammarly.
I hate Grammarly. Oh, I hate Grammarly. Oh.
But look, that you are now not the true or only writer of your paper, because you got something that is editing your sentence structure for better flow.
That's actually, a lot of companies don't allow Grammarly for that exact reason, because that data is actually being transmitted back to Grammarly. So kind of going back to the AI, Grammarly has no official privacy controls for that data. So if you're writing privileged information, it's actually being sent to the Grammarly servers, and they actually have no official documentation of what actually happens to that data. Versus Word is at least hosted locally on your computer, or if like your Office 365 organization, you can have your own on-cloud like tenant, basically with privacy controls, where kind of with Grammarly, it's not going out to some magical cloud server. I mean, it's still a magical cloud server, but at least you control where does that data go. Which, to be fair, you're also then trusting Microsoft to actually contain that data within your own tenant and not let it leak out elsewhere. Is always a concern, depending on what data you have. I mean, stuff you and I are doing, who really cares?
Right.
But like if you're, have like trade secrets or like the NSA or something crazy, you probably don't want that information getting out.
What? Come on.
I wonder if the NSA uses Grammarly.
That's how they're doing all the leaks. No, no.
But yeah, it's the same thing. Like we were saying with the artwork, it's the same thing where it's a great question of, and there is, where does it cross the line from becoming, the Photoshop situation where you're just using Photoshop to, give it a nice little few fixings, versus the same thing with, any photography you purchase. That's been touched up, it has.
Yeah.
Versus, fully AI generated artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you kind of cross the Rubicon is what is AI generated versus what was created by the human?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
there's the AI rabbit hole just continues to grow in size. I think it's more a rabbit hole now. I think it's literally just like a massive citywide sinkhole at this point.
Yeah. And now you have, of course, politicians trying to write law and solve problems of which they don't even use a computer in the first place to know what the hell are they talking about.
They've got assistants for that, okay? They don't need to dirty their hands or sully their hands upon the keyboard of life.
They should just ask ChatGPT what to do.
Yeah. I just asked the voice on my computer what to do, and it does it. They just ask Alexa.
No, these people on a computer are so old, they're usually asking the paperclip.
Oh, God. That paperclip, man. That's the guy who's stealing all your data.
That's what Microsoft should bring back. Instead of Bing, it should have been the paperclip.
That's the guy who's leaking all your data, man. It's that fucking paperclip.
He's still living underneath the kernel of Windows.
Mm-hmm. He's in the background, deep in the weeds, searching for all the nuggets of truth that you don't want anyone else to know about.
And the truth shall set you free.
Will it, though?
Or I'll send you to jail. One of the two.
More likely the second than the first. Okay.
Great.
Let's move on to the next story. And this one, this is just super duper nerdy. This is the Thursday Night Hangout. There's nothing. I don't think that we don't do super duper nerdy here. But
whoa. Is there a nerdy threshold? Like, do you get too nerdy, or it's like we've crossed the line, brother?
I don't think so. I think you cross the line when you get into dark niche fandoms that should just be left alone if you
I know you
are not part of them.
Like nightmares about that from Dragon Con years ago.
Yes, I went down the wrong hole. Okay,
we look them all fandoms. We hold no judgments of that which you don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Broaden your horizons.
Hey, you do you. As long as you're not hurting people, you do you. Or if you are hurting people, they're all consenting adults. Okay. Because some people get off on that. I don't. But hey, different strokes for different folks.
You get off on consenting adults? I'm very confused.
No. I said, oh, for God's sakes, I am not. I've already forgot what I said. Okay, because I'm just trying to change the topic here. You
should know better. Come on.
This is super duper nerdy, Zealeus and Charlie old school stuff, and that is the fact that two of our favorite authors who co-write, Weiss and Hickman, have come out and announced that there is going to be a new Dragonlance book coming out very soon.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
I still have the original saga somewhere in my bedroom. It is kind of interesting. Maybe this is sacrilege to the geek community.
Oh, boy.
But I've tried rereading Dragonlance, and it's just not the same.
Dude, I've got 3 copies of Legend of Huma, damn it.
I think I've actually talked to somebody about this the other day, and when we were growing up, when you had the fantasy genre, you basically had the classics of the Tolkien or the Earthsea series. Like you had the old classics, or you had stuff like Dragonlance or the Dragon Riders of Pern. Maybe a few Eddings thrown in there, but you didn't really it wasn't a very large offering. And then somewhere in like the 2000s, it started to blow up, and really then Harry Potter kind of blew the doors off the whole like genre.
Yeah.
Genre. But now you have, big time authors like Sanderson, Rothfuss, you got like Martin, you have all these authors, and young adult has in large part taken it over too in a kind of weird way, because they're all either dystopian or some kind of weird fantasy series. So it's like there's such a bigger, broader depth of fantasy offerings now that I feel like you didn't have when we were growing up.
Agreed.
And I feel like that simplicity of the older books kind of shows through a little bit. When you reread them, it doesn't quite have the same depth compared to, I think, what's coming out nowadays. Just kind of my 2 cents. Nonetheless, I still love some Hickman and some Weiss. I mean, was absolutely our gateway to imagination.
The book is called Dragons of Fate. And I'm trying to see if I've got a release date here. It is the sequel to Dragons of Deceit, which is okay. So it's called the Dragonlance Destiny series. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. They might just be working on it. I don't know if they've actually got a ship date, but
wow, this was probably about 4 years ago. It was pre-COVID. Remember at DragonCon, I went to a panel that had Tracy Hickman in it.
They're saying August of this year.
I was totally excited. Like, oh heck, get the book and get it signed by Hickman at DragonCon. Panel with Tracy Hickman and some other authors. Yeah, like the mic was not on or something.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a damn word. It's like, and everybody around me was like, "Can you hear anything?" No, and like, it wasn't like, I mean, the mics were on, but like,
the levels were low.
They were low, and they like sit back here and be like, "I wrote this book." It was like very hard to understand anything that was going on.
I understand. I've been to those things. It's the same for like with Alter Confusion when we're doing interviews, and you have people who we explain we've got condenser mics. You have to basically hold it right below your chin so we can pick you up. And you have those individuals who start basically. I've got. Hold on. Where's the other mic here? For those who are watching it, here's my other mic, and it's literally they're gesturing with the mic. Going, we've worked a long time. It was, there's lots of cycles. You're like, dude, seriously, just hold the mic close to your face. And yes,
and they'll go like high, low, high, low, high, low, and like you keep on like, where's the
that's
so excited, and they just get animated, and
that's one of the reasons why I stand behind the camera. I no longer do the interview where I'm sitting next to them for the most part, because I want them to see how I'm holding the mic. Just as a point of reference, like, I mean, look what I'm doing.
You could just have like hold it to their face.
No, I'm not gonna. Oh God, there's an SNL skit with I can't remember his name now. Where Bill Hader, and he's this old curmudgeon-y reporter, and every single time. He's got the mic and he's interviewing someone, and he basically pops the person in the side of the face by their mouth with the mic. He's like, so tell me what's going on. It's like, pop, smack him in the face. It's great.
Nice.
But anyways, yes, there is a new Dragonlance book coming out. Apparently, I can never pronounce his last name, but Joe Magliano has kind of been behind the scenes pushing for a Dragonlance live action series, which I would not be against. But as of right now, that's just rumor and people wishing and hoping for something.
I'm actually more of a fan of, I want a Dragonlance anime, a modern Dragonlance anime, something like Dragon's Dogma that came out, something in that vein. I think would be awesome. I don't need everything to be live action. Like, I don't have a need for it. I don't feel it. And I think generally you can actually do a lot more interesting things, honestly, with an anime versus live action.
I think the reason why we're here in live action is because of the success of the Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine.
Yeah, but look how many shitty Dungeons and Dragons like IPs live action story before that. So yes, you get one, but fantasy is hard to do well live. That's kind of how I look at it.
And yet Netflix is about to pump out 2 new live action shows based off of anime.
Yep, and look how long most of those Netflix fantasy series last. 1, maybe 2 seasons. The Fate Wink saga, you had Warrior Nun, and you have other series that just don't last, in part because probably production cost. Mm-hmm. So, nope, I'm perfectly happy with the animes, honestly.
Which, by the way, just if you're curious, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 live action shows that I'm talking about that Netflix is currently making, they're doing The Last Airbender to try to correct that egregious movie that was so bad and so whitewashed and ain't even funny. And then, of course, they're doing a live action One Piece, which I'm still really excited about because I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, if they do it right, that'd be really freaking cool. But so many characters are so over stylized that I'm not sure, like, if it would just be easier. Well, actually, it's already animated, so it's not like you can make an animated
anime. Another example would be Trigun.
Have you watched any Trigun Stampede?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. It's a totally different, well, it's not a totally different anime, but it's still a different anime.
Well, then you have God of War coming to live action.
That's
eventually.
Warhammer 40K.
At least in God of War, I'd be interested to see who they cast as Kratos. 10 years ago would have been Batista.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Honestly, I know we say this for him for so many shows. Mm-hmm. It would have been actually, no, it'd be good. John Cena.
Yeah.
I could actually see John Cena because he's actually a good actor.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. So I could actually see John Cena. He's still got the bulk and he's still young enough because that's the problem. You got like Batista will be perfect, but he's probably about 5-10 years too old to do anything, Agreed. Lengthy.
Yeah.
But I think John Cena would actually be great at that role.
That'd be nice.
That'd be good. Jason Statham?
No, too old.
Too old? Yeah. I don't know how Jason Statham still looks like he does because the dude's like over 50. And the dude's not young and he still looks
pretty good
like
for
Jason
his age.
Statham.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to take a quick pause here. This is the part of the show where we thank those amazing individuals who help Alter Confusion be the Alter Confusion that you love and adore. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the friends of the show. And, of course, let's start off with the Indie Cluster, which the art. Okay, well, this is going to be interesting because apparently the backgrounds did not transfer. Interesting.
Well, they did.
It did, but
just like interesting on our faces.
Yeah, exactly. All right, anyway, so the Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. All right, now I'm interested to see what happens when we do this one. All right, let's try Noodle Boy Media. Oh, hey. Maybe it's just the background didn't, the color fill didn't work for Indie Cluster. I'll fix that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Noodleboy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodleboy Media, previously Whack Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/Noodleboy Media today. The next shout-out we got to give is to the magical chiropractor himself. Yes. Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic's unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the maestro himself, CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content, just like Alter Confusion? CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions for individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he could do for you. And oh, spoiler, CrossPad Creative and Alter Confusion might be potentially updating our intro. I can't tell you if it's actually going to happen or not, or what the timetable is, but we might have something in the works. And of course, the final shout out we got to give is to the OG himself. That, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both the development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information, go to agileaxiom.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you're all asking yourself, how do I become a friend of the show? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to tell you that Alter Confusion... Oh, son of a bitch, another one. Hold on. It's this black background. Whatever this black background is, it does not work. So, I apologize, but you can see half of Zealeus' face during this. And I think he might be frozen. Anyways, so, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, vampires, werewolves, mummies, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. Currently, we have 2 tiers. We have the $1 tier, that's $1 a month or $12 a year. What that gives you is early access to all of our playthroughs and, of course, the ability to participate in patron-only posts and polls. Now, if you're feeling a little bit frisky, there's the $5 tier. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only do you get everything at the $1 tier, but you also gain your name or organization added to our thank you section for every single Thursday night hangout. So if you're interested in becoming a patron of Alter Confusion, go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Altered Confusion today. All right, the next one we got to give. Okay, why does that background work? It's the same effing background. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion is proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 12 straight years. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best. Game to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Altered Confusion today. All right, ladies and gentlemen. let us get back into the stories.
Indeed.
The next story is that there is a new Harry Potter game that just dropped. And this one is free to play on your mobile device. It is called Harry Potter Magic Awakened, created by Portkey Games. This has you playing a character in the Harry Potter universe, and it takes place after the big Battle of Hogwarts, where Professor McGonagall is now the head mistress, and you are a student, you incoming first-year student at Hogwarts. I'm very, the one thing that I find interesting about this is the fact that they didn't go with using Hogwarts as a title like they did for Hogwarts Legacy. They decided to go with Harry Potter. Whatever. God dang, I already forgot the name. Harry Potter Magic Awakened, which I find kind of interesting. I wonder I wonder if people got non-Harry Potter fans got confused when it was just Hogwarts instead of Harry Potter. I know that the Hogwarts Legacy really had nothing to do with the Harry Potter storyline. So, yeah.
Huh. It's a gotcha, AFK hero game.
Mm-hmm.
All it is. Lord of the Rings just released one a month ago. Looks like the same thing, just with different skins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good gosh.
I played a little bit of it. I did some of the dueling class, which, is, I'm sure, a centerpiece of it all. And it's a card-based battle system. And you have to wait for your spell points to build up. Each card has a cost on it. And then you can summon monsters. You can do spells. And, of course, you have health points that you have to keep an eye on.
Was it fun, though?
It was kind of entertaining. I kicked ass, but, that was the tutorial. You got to remember, the tutorial is never going... I mean, yes, the tutorial shows you how to do that section of the game, but do not anticipate that the game is going... If there's levels of that based off of the tutorial, that is the difficulty level for all of that section.
But what if I just want to enjoy the story and it'd be easy the entire time?
I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Zealeus, I don't know the answer to your question, sir. I'm sorry. I would guess that if you're willing to spend a lot of money, it could be very easy for you. But then again, I could be wrong. Who knows? And I guess some slightly, and going on to the next topic, some slightly, I guess, sad news. Hi-Res Studios, the makers of Smite. Well, okay, so once upon a time, there was a company called Hi-Res Studios. They owned Global Agenda, Smite, Paladins, and some other games. And then they, of course, restructured. They created a bunch of companies underneath them. I think one is called... Oh, man, of course I'm blanking out now. Evil Mojo and Titan Forge. Titan Forge is now in charge of Paladin and all those IPs. And then Evil Mojo is in charge of Smite. And it looks like they are restructuring yet again, which is from my understanding, is the third round of layoffs in this wonderful restructuring. Restructuring is just a fun way of saying we are shuffling people around and there's a chance that there's going to be redundancy, and those redundancies are going to go bye-bye.
Don't forget about optimizing the streamlines to increase efficiency and
profit, reduce
inefficiencies.
No, it's not inefficiencies, it's redundancies.
Redundant inefficiencies?
God dang it. Deficiencies. I'm trying to make up words over here. The indeficiencies
Ooh, I think you should use that in your next round of interviews. Just pop it out there. Be like, I was a leading edge case user of creating the inefficiencies in which we used to load balance the flux capacitors to make sure that all of the DBQ84s ran successfully.
Of course, all the Wibble knobs had to be removed from the server room because they were isolating too much of the data box package doodads to,
See, I can't even call BS on that because it just sounds very technical and like you know what you're talking about.
Of course.
That's what it's all about.
Yes. Now, I have to say that, oh goddamn, my brain just literally went down, like just disappeared.
Did you break your brain again?
I think I did. I think I really did. Yeah. Zealeus, what have you been playing? How about that? Let's get back on track by having you talk while I try to recover.
Oh God, what have I been playing? I've been playing more Diablo 4. That's about it. Nothing very exciting. I mean, I'm still leveling up, still, killing more things. It's a solid RPG. If you like action RPGs, go play. If you don't like action RPGs, you won't like it. It's pretty basic math. There is one thing I do hate about it.
Okay.
It's 2023. It's a online MMO light. Yet the game is missing one very important thing in the world of always online and MMO light.
And that would be
social controls.
No, not social controls.
Like there's no way to create there's no looking for group functionality. Interacting with other people is basically like using pre-made emotes, which nobody really uses. You kind of see them around like during big battles, like world events, which overpowered players can already beat a world event in 15 seconds, which is pretty lame.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like some of those things are like lame. Yeah, like the game does a lot of things well, but it comes to what was supposed to be like the big one of the big differentiators of Diablo 4 being the online immersion, not there. It's not even that it's terrible. It's just you can't even be bad at it when it just doesn't exist. So that's pretty disappointing. Because when you beat the campaign, you start doing like these dungeons and nightmare dungeons and going in. They're called Hell Tides. They basically go and farm. Fun enough, right? You go kill lots of big things. That's the whole point. But if it's supposed to be like a social MMO type of action RPG, have some kind of bloody mechanism in the game to allow me to do that. Which is absolutely nuts. When Diablo 2 had the damn mechanism in place. Diablo 2 had, I created a lobby. I want to do a Laz run, or I want to go do a ball run. I create that. Boom, I get 4 people, we go. How in the bloody hell, all these years later, does Diablo 4 does not have it? Just
Activision?
I don't know. It literally boggles my mind. Hell, they could go steal a couple of the World of Warcraft interns. World of Warcraft has this shit for years. Go put some LFG crap in here. Doesn't mean anything complicated. You don't have to account for weekly awards and tokens and all these other complex things. No, it's just simple. LFG, where you want to go. That's it. It leaves me speechless. How it just doesn't exist. And it also kind of ruins the end game because the end game content would be so much more appealing if there was that social aspect to go with it. Because to me, that's always been with true MMOs like Final Fantasies and those games. For the end game content is the social part of it, of teaming up with other people to take on big, hard content. You can't do that. It's just lame.
There it is.
That's how I feel. Lack of LFG is lame. That's all there is to it. So yes, it makes me sad. That's really what it does. It makes me sad that an integral part of any type of social game does not exist in any shape, form, or fashion. I mean, it took Overwatch years to come with looking. Hell, go steal one of the Overwatch interns. They can't do anything to their damn game, so they might as well do something useful.
I mean, hell, oh man, I just blanked out. What was the name of the game that's based off the the sci-fi channel series? I don't know why I just blanked out.
Yes, Defiance.
Defiance. Literally, you had instant instant events that you just walk in and help out, but they also had LFG. And that,
Yeah, and it does kind of suck that the big, we're supposed to be like the social events, which that's a big deal in Defiance.
Yep.
Back in the day, you had Rift, a great old MMO, where big social events were like, world bosses were a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of like in Defiance, like you didn't give them in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter how overpowered you are, like they worked it out. So like you still had to work together and all that stuff. Nope. Diablo, you can just annihilate, and that kind of takes the fun out of it on what's supposed to be a social event.
Hell, Diablo 3, because I didn't know that you could stop people from joining your game. There were times where I was up against a boss, and it fucking scales when one of your buddies jumps into the game.
Yep.
Thanks, Zealeus, for that.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
You're like, hey, you want to play Diablo? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And you just jumped in my game and you went window shopping. I was like, come help. And you're like, just give me a second. I'm like, no, I'm dead. Thanks a lot.
I need a cure, bro.
I, of course, have continued to play Zelda.
Nice.
I hit a piece in the game where I got annihilated. And now I'm scared to death of trying to continue the story because, I got annihilated. But at some point, I'm going to have to advance the story. I do have 4 of the sages, fire, wind, water, and lightning. We will see what else we could do. I am not as sophisticated as some of these gamers out there who have created random stuff in Zelda with all of their magical powers. I mean, someone made a Beyblade arena. There's someone out there who has a fully powered mech. I want to find a way if someone could just like gift me the blueprints to that mech, then I'm pretty sure that obstacle, that hurdle, that roadblock that I'm hitting right now and continuing the story, I could get past it. But right now, I'm getting my ass handed to me.
I mean, I feel there's a lot of big solid releases coming out this year. Yeah, Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
You have Final Fantasy 16, which people are eating up. And you have potentially, what's that space game coming out later this year? Thank you. You have that coming out.
The lame Diablo 4 came out this year.
And I don't know if you saw what has been officially announced to come out on PC on August 3rd and the PS5 on September 6th.
Baldur's Gate 3. Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's official.
Yeah, they pushed up the Baldur's Gate 3 release. They were supposed to be like simultaneously released on both platforms or all platforms on the end of August, but now PC is getting it early August and the console in early September.
And of course, you had Hogwarts Legacy came out earlier this year, which everyone loved.
Yep.
So this has been overall for AAA titles. This is actually a pretty solid year, I'd say, as far as good AAA games coming out.
Agreed.
I mean, you're always going to have ones that aren't as good. I mean, that's your natural course of things, but it seems like this is kind of a little bit of a uptick in terms of released quality. Of course, Nintendo releasing a first-party game like Zelda always helps.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Super Mario RPG is going to come out before the end of the year, and also the new Super Mario Wonder.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
Super Mario RPG, that's just a remake / HD upgrade. Is that really considered a new release?
I think because it's so far. I mean, the when you released Dead Space, I mean, people saw that as a new release, even though it was just just an updated thing. So yeah, I would consider that. Well, especially for Super Mario RPG, because that was on the SNES. So we're talking several generations between the last time we saw that game. So you've got an entire there's an entire generation out there who's never played Super Mario RPG, and you have an entire generation out there who basically jizzed in their pants when they saw that it's finally getting an update.
The original release date of Super Mario RPG, 1996.
Yeah, buddy.
Jeez, that's nuts.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that long ago.
27 years?
Yeah,
so almost 30 years. I think that's a new release.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I would agree. I would say 20 years is time to call it a new game, because I feel like even 10 years ago. I mean, obviously graphics are better. Like, let's not get hyperbolic here, but 10 years ago, games still are not. They're still good graphics.
Yes.
10 years ago, like you can still play a game from 10 years ago, like, damn, that looks good. 20 years ago, definitely a major changeover at that point.
I mean, we're talking bit graphics back then.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's going to be a major seller for sure. People are going to be stoked about that.
I am going to disappear, with the exception, of course, of that Thursday, but I will disappear, and I'll be playing the shit out of that game.
Are you one of those people? Are you going to take the day off just so you can play all day?
If I've got a sick day that I can use, hell yes.
And imagine this: a single player game that's not online always, so you'd actually play the game to its full extent on release date. Imagine that. Imagine that,
and also, no matter if I lose internet or hell, even power, because I've got a bunch of backup batteries here, I can continue to play. I don't have to do a weird ass authentication against a server, and I don't or constant authentications against a server.
Okay, so as a major Switch player, question for you then. Well, first off, do you play a lot? Do you play enough in the handheld format to care about the screen?
So it really depends on the game. If there's a lot of shit going on, like Zelda, I'd rather not play as the handheld, especially since you have the gyro controls and the joy pads, which could throw shit off when you're aiming with a bow. But other games, I have no problem. Like, it's about the complexity of what's all on the screen. If you have a busy HUD, then I don't want to play it in handheld. Or if it's really fast paced, because if I'm going to be honest, if I'm button mashing, I don't want to do it in the handheld, because I feel like the Pro controller could take a lot more abuse than the Joy-Cons.
Well, so one of the reasons I was asking, because there's a debate online of, let's just, for the sake of argument, imagine Switch 2 is going to be a handheld console again.
Yep.
Right now it's a 720p screen, and people are like, Switch 2 should be, 1080p because new version, better graphics and all that stuff, right?
Right.
But people on the other side of the fence are like, whoa, hold up a second. First off, it's a pretty small screen, so you're not going to really notice, honestly, much of a difference of 720 versus 1080p for a screen that small. And one of the big pros of the Switch is the battery life. All of a sudden you crank it up. I mean, look at the the Steam Deck. I mean, it's a great handheld, but you definitely don't get the battery life that you do get with the Switch. All of a sudden, you crank up that resolution on the Switch, you lose one of the major perks, which is that battery life.
Agreed. I mean, I to be honest with you, I think that I'd be okay with having 720 while it's not docked, and have like an upscaler or something when in the dock. Though that would really piss off a lot of third-party dock sellers.
Doesn't it upscale when you're in the dock now?
I think it does. I think it does, but it's not a smooth transition.
I'm pretty sure it does in the dock already.
But I think that if Nintendo were to come out with something like some additional power in the actual dock, where it's not just charging.
Oh gosh, it's like the old N64 when you had the pack in the back of the controller to magically give yourself a better gameplay experience.
The expansion.
Yeah.
So you could play what was the game that came Perfect Dark was the first one I played where you had to get the expansion pack into the 64, and then also Donkey Kong 64 also required it. But Perfect Dark, of course, was the game that came after GoldenEye. And it was basically GoldenEye, but sci-fi with I guess more sci-fi, spy. Basically, it's still a good game. I had such weird games to 64. I don't even know where my 64 is anymore. I think maybe my sister still has it. I don't know.
You think she actually plays it if she has it?
I don't know which sister has it, so I don't know.
Well, you have a 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, it's one of two. So I know we're about out of time, but I do want to say a funny story, and that is that with the new computer, I do have the old computer still going, and so one of my sons is playing on that computer, and then my other son's playing on the new computer. And the son that's playing on the new computer has just been randomly installing games out from my Steam library. So every single time I sit down in front of my computer, there's like 2 to 3 new icons. I'm going, what the?
I hope you don't have your credit card like by default, and you actually buys a bunch of games.
No. That's a multi-step process that I have to put in a security code.
Good.
That's the only time. If I'm paying money, then I need that one-time code that gets sent to my phone or to my email or something. It's a pain in the ass when you're just trying to log into something like Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, it is okay if you have a problem, be you depressed, anxious, bipolar, whatever. There are people that are trained to help you. I'm not being paid by BetterHelp, but I will tell you that BetterHelp has helped me personally, and BetterHelp, if you will, on occasion, decide that even though you have a PIN number and all that jazz, they will give you an extra level of security, which pisses me off because usually when I'm logging into BetterHelp, I'm logging in to do a video session with my therapist, and I'm late because I have to wait for a slightly delayed email that gives me the one-time code. Interesting. Why did Amazon Digital just charge my credit card?
Oh, see, one of your kids, they found it.
I'll have to figure that out later. Anyways,
I just saw that Final Fantasy 14, the complete edition, you can now get on the PC for half off, sir.
Dun dun dun. No, I'm good. I'm not looking at Steam right now. I've got too much Zelda to play.
That's fair.
So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we've reached a good end to the show. This is actually a full show instead of last week's, I think, 46-minute show. But anyways,
we had things.
That's true. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.